even down to it showing you where it's sourcing stuff from. Like it will give you the link to it to show you, oh, I got this information from this specific article or this specific blog. So you have something to reference, or generating a draft directly in your Google Drive, or generating an email directly into your Gmail account. And so there's a lot of really great tools that it has. And so I have instructed all of my team members, we are no longer using Chat GPT. We are a Gemini company.
Welcome to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, the podcast that shows you how to leverage the power of AI technology without wasting your time or selling your soul. Let's embrace making AI work for you. Hey, my human friend, and welcome back to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs. I am so excited to share today's guest with you. Djenee and I got to chat about Gemini and Chat GPT and why she is a Geminite, in her own words, why she loves Gemini more than Chat GPT. And it was super, super interesting, fun. She also shares some really great insights when it comes to using AI tools in branding, in your business, and also with your team. And she shares insights into why you really should not get someone to generate an AI logo for you or an AI generated logo for you. Hint, it has to do with trademark and copyright. So anyway, I know you're going to love this conversation. I really enjoyed it myself. And if you do, make sure that you share this with a business buddy who could also use to listen to it. And while you're at it, why not leave us 5 stars or a friendly review on your favorite podcast platform? Because that really does help us to continue spreading our authentic AI message and growing our authentic AI community. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hi, Djenee. Thank you so much for coming on Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs. I'm so excited to bring you on the show.
Thank you, Kinsey. I'm excited to be here and chat a little bit about these robots.
Oh, yes, a nerd out about all things AI. I love it. But before we dive into that, I did introduce you just a little bit in the intro, but I'd love to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you serve?
Awesome. I'm Djenee Dunn. I'm the owner and founder of Brandkin. We work with our clients to help them build culturally relevant brands. So from web design to marketing strategies to like aesthetically pleasing graphics and messaging, we take all of that and help them get to the core of who they are and then create a look and a feel and a vibe that's just all about them and being relevant to the culture and the community that they're trying to serve.
Oh, I love that. And I am a branding nerd as well. So I feel like we're going to be geeking out in those conversations.
I love it.
Totally. But I always do to kick off the conversations by just asking you, how did you start learning about AI tools and dipping your toes into the AI world?
Yeah, so I think my very first, beyond your phones and Siri and stuff like that, I think using it in my business, my very first kind of intro to AI was probably copy AI, I think, and just learning how that works. I was working with a client of mine and she's like, have you heard of this really cool tool? It like does all this for you. And she showed it to me and my eyes were just like, oh my God, this is a game changer. Like my life as I know it has changed forever. And so with that, I just started diving into more tools and researching different tools that people are using for their businesses. And then slowly, this has been like maybe over the last 12 months, like how many programs and things that we utilize have just implemented AI, from the website development tool that we use to content development to just even inside of like our proposal softwares and stuff like that, like all the things. There's like, hey, we have this new AI feature. Use this to make this easier. Use this to make your life better. And just trying to also find the balance with it also. But definitely my real kind of like start with AI was probably about a year or so ago.
Yeah, same here too, lady. It's insane how much AI technology has just exploded into, especially the entrepreneur space and everything that I've noticed and stuff. I noticed that you said when you first started using it, you were like, this is a game changer. I love it, and like fully embraced it. But you also had mentioned that you really like to talk about the kind of fears and hesitations when it comes to using AI in your business. So what did that look like for you? Did you have any hesitations at all? Or
yeah, I did. One being, what does does this mean for copyright things specifically? We do a lot of writing for our clients and just the legalities of it. And so one of the things that I was very sure to do is in our contracts and updating clauses with our current clients and letting them know what we do and don't use AI for. So we might use AI to help us, to assist us in generating content for your website or for social media. We never use AI to help us develop logos for your brand or things like that. So that way they know, okay, I'm safe to be able to trademark this. This is maybe just a little bit help just trying to reword stuff and refine stuff, but this is like content for my website or things like that. So those were my biggest fears, was really just making sure that my clients were aware of what we do and don't use AI for, so that they know and feel comfortable. And we were very transparent about that when we started using it. And it's now a clause in my contracts and my agreements. And also now we're adding that in the privacy policies on all of the websites that we build. So that transparency was a very big thing for me. And so I think we did it pretty well in letting our clients know, and just even on our own site, letting people know how we utilize AI.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm so glad that we took it here as well, because that is something that I think that it's still somewhat of a gray area. And also a lot of people, when they start using AI tools, they don't even really think about or realize how to work with your clients. And also even not just the privacy stuff, but exactly like you said, the copyright, the trademark, and just making sure that you and your clients are on the same page, understand what it means. And yeah, for sure, thinking about trademarking the logo mark, especially in the ideation, even for logos, maybe, or something like that. Really interesting topic. I actually interviewed a trademark lawyer back in November about this stuff, but I'm going to interview another one in May again, just because all of this stuff changes so quickly.
It changes so often. And it's just, it's almost like you can't keep up, but like you have to, so that like exactly what you do. But I think also as designers and things like that, inherently, like morally and ethically, you already know anything AI generated is almost similar to just copying somebody else's work, plagiarizing or copying somebody else's design work. And as a ethical designer, you're not going to do that anyway. And so I think for some of us, it definitely is just that line of knowing where you have a stopping point to utilize AI with your clients, for sure.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I love that. So let's go ahead and dive into just a few of the ways that you have been loving to use AI tools in your business right now. I know you were a Chat GPT person, and now you're totally a Gemini girl.
Full Geminis.
So tell us about that, lady.
Yeah, so a Gemini was at some point, I think it was BOD or something like that. I can't remember what they called it. So Gemini, for anybody that doesn't know, is Google's AI software. And so we were very like diehard Chat GPT. And then I forget what I did, but I went back to Google because I started noticing that Chat GPT was giving me very similar tones and stuff, no matter like how much I prompted it to do something else. Like if we're writing blogs, it was almost always sounding the same at the beginning, like in a world where, and I'm like, okay, this we can't be in a world where every single time. So I decided to shift over to and check out Google. So I knew they had one before. So let me see what they're doing now. And I tested it out, and I just fell in love. Everything felt more, and I know we'll probably get some backlash for this, but it felt a little bit more humanized using the Gemini software. And I think it's because Google has so much more resources to look into and gather information from and data and stuff like that, where there's a lot more humanization online. And they have that. They have the monopoly on that. And even down to it showing you where it's sourcing stuff from. Like it will give you the link to it to show you, oh, I got this information from this specific article or this specific blog. So you have something to reference, or generating a draft directly in your Google Drive, or generating an email directly into your Gmail account. And so there's a lot of really great tools that it has. And so I have instructed all of my team members, we are no longer using Chat GPT. We are a Gemini company, and I might need to get Google to sponsor us or something, but I love it. I love it, and I haven't looked back yet. And so I'm hoping that they are continuing to evolve it. I've noticed I've tried it a few image generators with it, and it hasn't grasp people yet, but some basic things it's generating right in the software, which ChatGPT on the free version isn't doing. I love it. I'm excited to see what else they come up with, but it's Google. They're going to have everything at some point.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's so funny. I am definitely like a mostly Chat GPT person. It's so funny, even having this podcast and having online courses and stuff, I've really had to set boundaries with the AI tools that I use and try, right? Because it can just be endless. And so it's been on my list to try out Gemini, especially after I tried Claude like way back in the day, or whatever it was. Oh, Bard.
Bard. Yeah. Thank you. I think that's what it was. Yeah, Bard. I was like, who is this? That's such an odd name, but
yeah. Gemini is just, and I love the Geminites. I'm a Gemini.
I love it.
But yeah, I know. I really need to try out Gemini. And I was giggling too, because I love ChatGPT. I still am a ChatGPT girly. I do always have just this little nagging issue because it uses browse with Bing. And I'm Bing.
Yeah.
Good old Bing. And I do hear you about, definitely there are those, especially ChatGPT tropes and cliches that we see so often with the copy and whatnot.
And an overwhelming amount of emojis. It's always emojis. I've noticed you just know when somebody has just copied and pasted into like their social or something like that, which is another really important thing, is like still making it sound like you and not just taking the content and posting it.
Oh, yeah. And that's totally important to me. And I've decided for us on this podcast, guys, this is important. But when I'm so curious about, the differences, the kind of nuances in the copy that now I'm going to call it Bard. Gemini will give you versus ChatGPT. Is Gemini not really, you don't notice a lot of the cliches, or how is it different in that copy like that?
Yeah, I definitely have noticed it's not as cliche. It definitely has its moments for sure. And I think that also comes down to the prompts that you feed it and refeed it and ask it to go over again. But I have noticed less of those like kind of very cliche things, like I mentioned, like in a world where blah, 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 or we'll be bigger and better together. Those really just kind of things that nobody really wants to hear. It's very much, thoughts and prayers type of stuff. It's very generic. And I dislike that a lot. And I will go and change some stuff around still, but I do believe that Gemini has a little bit more authenticity and humanization than Chat GPT for sure.
Yeah. Are there any settings like in ChatGPT you can set custom instructions and stuff? Can you do that for Gemini at all? Or
I don't think I think that's like the paid version of ChatGPT, right? Where you can go in and tell it, this is my tone. So it always like generates things in that tone or with your branding, things like that. In Gemini, I don't believe that exists yet. It has some prompts where you can click a button and tell it like, change this tone and it lists 3 or 4. But as of now, I haven't seen where you can put in settings for specifically to always generate like that type of tone and voice. But I probably wouldn't use it anyway, only because I really enjoy the prompting part of AI, like generating copy. I really enjoy it, like telling it what I want, and I get very specific. Even if it's 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then I might copy a link, here's a resource for you, or copy some content in and say, here's some more context. So I get very specific with my prompts, which helps me also get away from those very cliche and very same type of content that we're seeing often when people are just telling, hey, I want to create a social media post about Earth Day. And it's going to sound very kind of stoic.
For sure, yeah. Oh, and just to clarify too, ChatGPT's free version does also have that.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Thing. Yeah, which is cool. But yeah, it's one of those confusing things that I think they might have changed that at some point or something. But I know for sure the prompting thing, I get that too. Gemini, the version that you are using, is free, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And it can also connect to the internet at the same time with the free version. Okay, yep. I love that too, because that's definitely something that's not available on free ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. So I'm such a prompting nerd too. And this is something that I've actually really been trying to teach and like root for in our entrepreneur community is Guys, generic prompts will get you generic results. If you want to not be frustrated when you're using these tools, if you feel like you're pulling teeth trying to get what you want out of it, then let's learn a few of these like prompting techniques that can really help us. So do you have any kind of favorite prompting techniques or things that you've noticed works really well when working with these?
Yeah, I would say one is going to be, I like to use words like be clear about it, or help me make this clearer, or help me make this more concise if I want them to be shorter. I tend to lean towards shorter messaging, especially when I'm sending letters to clients and stuff, because nobody has time to read anything anymore, right? And so if I'm trying to get my message across, I just want it to be like less emotion, but definitely still have some empathy to it and some feeling to it. But very much, here's like what I need you to know. And then if you have any more questions, we can chat about it. So things like saying I want to be more concise, I want to be more clear, or being specific about your tone and writing that. Like the tone for this should be empathetic, but also don't take away any of the very important details. Being very specific. Like I said, copying stuff in, I want to create something similar to this, but I want the tone to be, and I also want to include information about things like that. Kind of help you shift its gears so that it's not as generic as it would be if you just said, hey, write me something about this. And then once it comes back, then going further, hey, I love this, and talking to it like a real person. I know it's weird, but like chatting to it as if you were chatting like in your iMessage or text message or something makes it really great too. I might be like, hey, I love this. Can we do this now with this content? Or can we now pull some social media posts from this blog that we created? And keeping everything in that one conversation, it tracks, very similar to Chat GPT. It tracks the conversation that you're having. But my biggest thing is definitely just being very specific and using adjectives that are explaining exactly the feeling that you want to come across in that content, even down to, and please don't include emojis. So always include an emoji, but I will tell it that please don't include any emojis, or I want this in a list format, or I want this in a paragraph format. But give it as much as you can when you're prompting, and you'll have less frustration, I think, with the results.
Totally. Yeah. And I feel too, I love that you said talk to it like a human, because this has popped up for me recently in my Content Made Easy course that I'm currently delivering with my students and stuff. A lot of my students have been like, I feel really awkward talking to ChatGPT. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to ask it. And one of those mindset shifts that I'm playing around with, seeing if this is helpful for them or not, is I think of it instead of a tool, I think of it as like a specific human role or something, right? Yep. Today, this is my idea, like ideation brain partner, brainstorming partner, or today, this is my assistant. I'm thinking about how would I speak to a human assistant? Yep. How would I speak to even a human business coach? Because I'll allow it to help, like, coach me through things too and stuff. That's been helpful for me, but
Have you been feeling frustrated trying to get ChatGPT to sound like you? You know this is an awesome tool you can use for so many things in your business, but you're tired of wasting time going back and forth only to end up with generic copy that sounds like a robot wrote it. Our new brand persona for ChatGPT mini course will help you hone your brand's unique voice with the help of ChatGPT, so you can get ChatGPT to dish up content ideas that are perfect for your brand and write copy that sounds just like you. With this quick, easy, and actionable mini course, we'll walk you through the process of training ChatGPT for your brand. So in less than an hour, you can turn ChatGPT into your amazing new assistant, content creator, copywriter, brainstormer at a minuscule fraction of the cost. So why wait? Sign up for our brand persona for ChatGPT mini course right now at AuthenticAIForEntrepreneurs.com/mini course. And in less than an hour, we'll get your ChatGPT to sound just like your brand and work authentically for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself. I totally agree with that. Just being, like you said, how you would talk to your colleague or your team member and just be like, hey, this is what I need from you. Can you give it to me? Can you help me or not? And I think that's what it comes down to. And I encourage my team members to utilize it as much as possible to help us dwindle down content that clients send us that it's too long for the website, or utilize it for ideas or just brainstorming stuff. And I encourage them to use it, one, because of the results that they could do, but 2, because of the efficiency. If you could get done with work quicker, why aren't we doing this?
Yes.
I'm very much a millennial. Like, I also don't want to be here at work. So let's do what we can to make things go a little bit quicker. And so I'll share with them the types how to utilize and the prompts and things like that. But definitely talking to it, it's just another member of your team will, I think, start to help you get. I ask it to tell me dad jokes sometimes. It does everything.
It'll do whatever you need it to. I've had it give me a pep talk when I've been in the middle of a launch. I need the pep talk right now. I'm worried about my numbers. You're doing fine. This is normal. I'm like, thanks, Chat GPT.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've had it help me plan out like a day before. I was like, okay, I have so much going on. Here's all the things that I need to do today. Here's the time that I want to start. Here's what the time I want to end my day. Can you help me get to that point? And it broke down like, all right, spend an hour on this, spend 2 hours on this. And it broke it down for me and it helped a lot. Did I follow it? No. Only because I get so distracted in other areas. And so that's something Chat GPT cannot help me with. But if in a perfect world, it would have been like the perfect schedule to follow if I wasn't getting distracted in other areas. But even down to like recipes, like I need a meal plan for this week. Help me plan what those meals look like and give me those recipes. Help me travel, like it does everything. And I think the more we explore and the more we ask for it, I was writing a presentation for a client the other day and I asked it to help me create a icebreaker for them based on like generations in the workplace. And it came up with a really great icebreaker. And so I think the more we just ask of it and the more we, think of the things that we would like to see, we can start humanizing it a lot more for everybody. And I think that will start to maybe help people be a little bit less scared of it. But we are using AI every day, like beyond ChatGPT and Gemini. If you ever talk to Siri, if you ever use your CarPlay, like if you ever do your Alexa, they're always listening. It's very much iRobot.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But it's there. We're using it regularly. And I think the fear is, for a lot of people, is this going to take my job? Instead of how can I utilize this to enhance what I'm doing in my career?
Oh, completely. Yeah, I know. It's like just starting to dip your toes into the world, opening yourself up to the opportunity. What I really like to encourage people to do is it can be overwhelming after you do dive in and you're like, oh, the possibilities and stuff. So really what I've just been trying to open myself up to do is just like remind myself that ChatGPT is there, or Gemini or whatever it is, remind myself it's there. So then as I'm working through my day, my business, my life, and I come up upon a sticking point, a pain point of some sort, a problem, then I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could open myself up to the possibility that it can just help me through my day. And that's been so helpful. We did this in Content Made Easy yesterday, actually, have prompted it to create a content repurposing strategy and
I love that. Yes.
Too, right? So it's, okay, here are my platforms, here are my content. Help me create the best repurposing strategy for me, and then also create the workflow that I can use that's the most streamlined and efficient. And so that was super fun and helpful too.
I love that. And one of the things that we have stopped doing with our clients is implementation of marketing, because social media and all that stuff is just very overwhelming to keep up with. And so we've moved over into creating the strategies and then handing it over to them to implement with guidelines. Like, here's how you can take everything that we've just created, put it into an AI generator and let it build off of what you have. Hey, here's a strategy for my social media. Here's some examples of content. Can you help me create an even more developed strategy for this about best days to post and things like that? I love just taking things that already exist, putting it in there, and then asking it, help me make this better. Help me brainstorm or analyze this a little bit more. Even down to, we do brand questionnaires at the beginning of all of our new projects. And I'll take that content and put it in Chat GPT or Gemini now and just say, hey, can you summarize all this data for me? And it'll give me a paragraph or two of this is what the client said, or hey, or here are some examples of messaging. I even take that, hey, help me create a mission or vision statement based on the content that the client gave, and I put that in there. It's very productive. And that's what I'm about, is I'm about being productive while also being concise and, of course, being intentional with how we're utilizing the software. But it very much is like, how can I use this to make things better for my team members, but also for my clients, without it being like too overuse of the software as well.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, I just love all of the different use cases for this. So one thing I wanted to mention to you too, and I'm just going to keep bringing up Content Made Easy, my course, because I'm like in the middle of it right now. But another thing I've been loving, I don't know if you create like social media templates for your clients or that. Yeah. You can totally screenshot or just download the template or something, a template, upload that image into Chat GPT, and it can read the image and help you fill out the text for you.
Oh, that's like AI or Canva has a similar thing like that. It has a few more extra steps, but it's like you can put in your content and then ask it to generate graphics. So it's like the opposite. But then you can ask it to generate graphics based off of like the quotes or content that you put into their document generator thing. Mm-hmm. But look, any way that makes life easier is totally for me. But I love it. I didn't know ChatGPT did that.
Yeah, so I'll use it for if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see like a reel that I want to like use as inspiration, like a trend or whatever, or if I see like a graphic or like a meme or something, I'll screenshot it, upload it to ChatGPT, be like, how can I make this fit my brand? Or I have been playing around. So Canva has just like so many templates, already filled out with the tips and everything and stuff. So then I'll just do that same screenshot thing with the Canva templates and be like, and also too, I like that because something that I've found, I've played around a little bit with Canva's generation of stuff. And I feel like you'll feel me as a branding lady. I don't love it. I don't love the designs. But if I find a template or I have a template from a brand that I like, and then I like that the text is already filled out and I can really ask ChatGPT to generate text.
More text about it.
Also, it's the area. So that's so nice. Oh my gosh, I could totally see you. I don't know if this is something you already do, but I could totally see you like you generate the strategy, of course, but then I could see you having like maybe a bonus pamphlet or workbook that you just gift to your clients. That's like a strategy for
how to implement.
That would actually be
Gemini. Really great. There was a moment in time where my business model, I wanted to shift to where after they're done with the strategy creation and stuff, we move into like almost like this monthly coaching type of thing or consulting type of thing where I then help them walk through how to do the implementation. But I like that guide idea.
Ooh,
thank you.
Girl, I love these chats. Okay, before we wrap up, I did just quickly want to ask you a little bit about, I know that you said you're encouraging your team to use Gemini and all that different stuff. And I know that a lot of people who use ChatGPT will either create like custom GPTs or have a Teams account or whatever that is. Like, how have you gone about encouraging your team to use Gemini? And also, like, how have you gone about training your team how to use it? Because I know that's a concern for people too. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Luckily, all of my team is mainly Gen Z and millennials. So we're already, like I said, ready to leave work the moment that we hop on the computer. So it wasn't hard to get them to embrace the technology. When we were using Chat GPT, I think everybody was like on board. Yes, let's use this. I love it. And I would show them, I think I did a little kind of session workshop. Hey, here's how to utilize this if we're looking for reducing content for Word websites or for graphics or for social and things like that. And so that has just, I guess that knowledge has probably just carried over with them to Gemini. But I actually hosted a workshop for my clients and my team members a couple months ago on demystifying AI fears and just showing them different products and how to use and make prompts and stuff. And that turned out really well. I had about 25 people sign up, and I think about 12 people showed up. And my clients were just like, wow, this is really great. Can we have another one? I'm like, yeah. Eventually. This was a lot of work. But some of my team members joined that too. But I think just who we are innately, like just generation based, I think naturally we're like drawn to figuring out how technology works on our own. And so there really hasn't been that big of a like drive to getting more and more of my team members to use it. I think I might have had one who was a little hesitant at first. And then when I showed her, she's like, oh, I could get behind this. And so luckily, I haven't had to have too much of trying to figure out the best way to guide people into it. So I've been very happy about that. But I always am definitely sharing like, hey, here's another really great tool that we can use. And I might send along a video or just like a quick how-to guide. I'm all for using AI so I will use like Loom. I love me Loom. And I will record myself telling them what I need or things like that. And then I love how Loom transcribes stuff for us as well, which has helped reduce the amount of meetings that we have. I'm not a meeting person, Kinsey. I'm not. I try to avoid meetings like the plague. So yeah, beyond like Gemini is just really anything that will help make our lives more productive, allow us more balance in just how we attack things at work, and allow my team members more time to just enjoy themselves outside of work is one of the main reasons why I very much embrace AI in the things that we do in the company, because it's important. I think it's just important beyond what it does. It's like, how does this help my team and my business at the end of the day? And it's not taking away anybody's job. It's actually helping me get them more work because we're getting through stuff faster and we can take on more clients. And I see that as a win. I definitely see that as a win. Yeah. I really have not had that big of an issue with getting my team members on board.
If you want tips and strategies on how to start, grow, and monetize your business online, check out the Digital Revolution podcast with Eli Adams. We interview digital experts from around the world that share their personal stories. They talk about what they're currently working on and where they see the future going. But most importantly, they share tactics in their specific area of expertise with the hope of helping you improve your digital presence online. You can listen to the Digital Revolution podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, or simply click on the link in the show notes below.
Yeah. Okay. I actually have one more totally off topic question-ish, but I can't let you go because as a branding woman, I would love to hear just a little bit about the visual side and like how you might be using that with your clients and all that stuff. I know that you had mentioned possibly Midjourney and or just like image generation with Gemini. What does that look like for you in your business?
Yeah, so a lot of it will come down to us either using it for inspiration or if it's just something like a social media graphic. So we're not using AI image generated stuff for anything that needs to be printed or anything that needs to be trademarked or could possibly be trademarked or copyrighted at some point. But we will utilize it. I use Adobe. We use Adobe products, Photoshop, Illustrator, all of that. And so Adobe stock has now, they have their own AI generating software, but they also now have it implemented into their stock website, and it generates a lot of AI content. And so you're hovering over stuff and you're like, oh, this is AI, this is AI, this is AI. And it's almost too much. It's almost too much AI, especially the ones that just have not gotten those fingers right or those feet right, or their eyes are all over the place. So we are very, I want to say intentional, but I don't know if that's the right word, but cautious. Very cautious about if we are using anything AI generated, specifically what it's being used for, and if it looks realistic enough. You can tell when the skin is too smooth or something like that, that it's AI generated. And like I said, we really only will utilize it if it's something that looks more like artwork in a sense that we can just use for graphics that maybe aren't being sold, but just visual, versus we just need like a stock image for a blog. Those are things that we'll probably maybe use some AI generated stuff, or things that don't have people in it. I needed to create an image for a technology island. That's not something I can just easily find on a stock image website like Pexels or Unsplash or Adobe. And so that AI came in handy there. I think for that one I used, it might have been Midjourney, but it might have also been Bing. Bing, I have a love-hate relationship with Bing. Their AI image generator is actually a little bit better than I think their like written stuff. But either way, something like that where this I know is going to be impossible for me to find this, I would definitely run to AI. If it's something that get me a picture of a woman in her office, I'm going to go just for the regular stock image. So that's a little bit more realistic if the client doesn't like already have those visual branding assets already.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I believe the Bing image generator is DALL-E, which is the ChatGPT one. Yeah. That one's so interesting. I know I have not played around as much with the actual in software Adobe AI stuff, even though I love it. And like, I'm an illustrator. Oh, I just could play around in Illustrator all day.
Yeah. I like theirs too. I don't know which one I like the most though. Cause like I said, they all have issues with hands. All of them.
All of them. And the weird eyes and like weird feet.
It's
and
a
sometimes
lot.
like their feet are like their feet are going into the ground.
And they got 4 feet. Sometimes I love playing with the image generator stuff. So a couple of months ago, I did a prompt. It was generate a realistic image of what it would look like if Rose let him on the door after the Titanic. Because we all know there was room for him to... we all know there was room for Jack to be on that door. And it generated some of the most hilarious visuals I've ever seen, where there was extra arms. But in all of them, he was on the boat. I think there was one where she was off of the door. Okay, that's fair. But my biggest thing is just go play with it. Like, the more you play with it, and even if you're just having fun with it because you're not really utilizing it in your day-to-day, just play with it. Go have fun. See what you can create. See what you can come up with. Join a couple of Facebook groups. I'm in quite a few AI prompt groups, which have helped me learn a little bit more how to utilize prompts properly, especially for the image stuff, to where you can get more realistic looking things. And so I would say don't embrace it as much as you can without it becoming like a total use for you, where you're using it every day, all day for everything. That definitely cannot happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can get sucked in. I get sucked into Midjourney holes every freaking time I use it. And Midjourney is the one that I've been playing around with the most. But I always give the caveat that like it's a little bit of a next level one, I'd say, to learn how to use and whatnot. But I've been really loving using it for one of the ways I use it, because exactly trying to get it, like describe exactly the visual you want, and the style is really hard. So I've been like using my Pinterest inspiration photos and like uploading that to Midjourney with the describe feature, and then it'll describe it, and then you can like
that's a really good idea
there. Oh, I've also been using this like plugin called Insight Face.
Okay.
And it like will swap your face for whatever the image is that like it generated or whatever, the person in the image.
Okay.
And I used it for like my Content Made Easy course sales page, because I was like, it's like space, like pink space boss lady vibes, you know? And I'm like, I don't have a photo
There's
of myself.
no way you're going to find that.
And so I just swapped my face onto these different like space lady astronauts and stuff. So that was really fun to play around with it. But I've really just been loving it too, because I am so bad with like stylistic visualizing styles, especially when it comes to brand photo shoots and things like that. I've been trying to plan a brand photo shoot coming up. And so I've been just like swapping my face onto different ladies' hairs and stuff. And one of the ladies had these super cool tattoos. I was like, oh.
Now you gotta get tattoos.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go get tattoos.
But I know, yeah, it's just been fun. But I so appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for sharing all of your insights and knowledge. Can you share with everyone how they can connect with you and find out more about you? Because I'll know they want to do that.
Yes, absolutely. I am on Instagram at DJENTAMU and also at BRANDKYN. Those are my personal and my business accounts. I'm not very active on either, but I'm there.
Amazing.
I am there, and same like my name just as it's spelled on LinkedIn and Facebook and everything. So yeah, that's where I can be found. And then obviously on my website, brandkin.com, you can see how we utilize AI and our policies and things like that. And you can book a call with me if you just want to chat more. I love having discussions like this, and I don't charge for things like where people just want to learn more about utilizing AI or things that we can do better in their business. And so definitely feel free to reach out to me there. I love talking about it. I love kind of encouraging people to utilize it. One of my major things is do not let anybody generate an AI logo for your business. You won't get the files that you need. You won't be able to trademark it. So please be cautious from a brand security and strategy point. Just be very cautious of how you utilize it for things that are essential to how long your brand will be relevant. That is very important. And so that's what I'll leave you guys with.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And we'll link everything in the show notes too, guys, to make it easy for you. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
How great was Djenee, you guys? I loved chatting with her, and I thought it was just so interesting to firstly hear about how Gemini is quote unquote better than Chat GPT. I'll have to go test it out myself, and I'll get back to you on that. But also just hearing about how she's using it in her business for branding purposes and geeking out about all things AI tools. I hope you loved this conversation as much as I did. And if you did, don't forget, connect with us on Instagram. I am at Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs. Send me a message. Let me know that you came from the podcast, and I will be sure to give you a follow back and just continue cheering you on over there. All right. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time I catch you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your shows.